Motivation, inspiration. It's all bullshit without taking action. International best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, tough love, no BS high-performance coach with an attitude. Welcome to the Queendom, where we talk about proven strategies to scale your business and scale your mind for ultimate success. And here's your hostess, cash flow queen, Kenitra.
Hey, folks. How is it going? All right, this is your girl, Queen. And in this episode, I want to chit-chat with you a little bit around the subject of freeing yourself from regret. Freeing yourself from regret. So when we take a look at the definition of regret, it says to feel sorry, to feel disappointed, depressed, or remorseful about something. Now, to feel sorry, to feel disappointed, distressed, or remorseful, all of these emotions and feelings are on a low vibration, a very, very low vibration. And I'm sure most of you, if you're tuning into this podcast and you're listening to me, like you are choosing a higher frequency, a higher vibration for yourself. I know for me, each day, I consciously choose to be in a frequency of love and gratitude. You know, love is the highest frequency that we can emit, right? And it attracts so much more love, so much more abundance, so much more positive things into our lives. Love is the gravity that holds this entire existence together, right? That frequency, that energy holds this entire existence together. Now, when we're talking about regret, you know, it can be a touchy subject, right? Because, you know, we all feel regret. I'm not going to say that I've never felt regret. So not true. I have felt regret about things. What I've learned to do is I've learned to, that space and time where I may feel like a low vibration, like something like regret, I try to collapse that time frame, right? Whereas, you know, before I really started to work on myself and started to elevate myself to a higher level of consciousness, to a higher level of frequency like love, you know, before I started doing that work, I felt regret about stuff for years. For years, I felt regret about something, right? And in all of those years that I was walking around and hoarding this emotion, hoarding this low vibration, I was only hurting myself. I wasn't growing, so I was dying, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. So, you know, as I started to do the work, you know, the inner work, the shadow work, past life regression, all of that stuff, you know, I started to realize that, man, I was really being hard on myself. I think that we are our worst critics. We are our worst critics. We don't need to have haters. We don't need to have people, you know, talking bad about you on social media or anything like that. We are our own worst critics. I firmly believe that you might be in a situation right now where you're feeling regretful about something. I firmly believe that people make the decision for whatever it may be, a love interest that didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, a job situation that you feel regretful about. You didn't take the job. You didn't relocate for the job. whatever the situation may be, family situations where you may feel regret about something. I feel like we do the best that we can at the time with the information that we have. I really don't feel like people are just out here just trying to be evil and trying to do stuff to people, maliciously and with bad or malice intent. I really don't believe that. And I know the things that I was holding on to personally that I was feeling regret about, it wasn't me trying to do anything maliciously. It was just, that's what it was. And the situation or the outcome didn't, transpire the way that I thought it would. Right? So why am I feeling regret about it? Why am I taking years and years and holding on to this thought, holding on to this emotion that's not enhancing my life? It's not pushing me forward. It's a low vibration. So I'm only attracting more things in my life that's on that vibration. Right? So how do we get rid of regret? How do we crush regret and move back into a higher frequency, a higher vibration? For me, I had to analyze the situation, look at the situation for what it was, right? Now, I'll open up and I'll share a little something with you that I really haven't shared with too many people. But I'm going to share with you all. So I met my biological father when I was about 12, 13. Yeah, somewhere in there, 12 or 13 years old. That's when I met my biological father. Now, when I met this guy, as we're talking, getting to know one another, towards the end of our visit, the guy asked me to borrow $2. Now, I'm a teenager, and I'm thinking to myself, $2? Like, I was disappointed, to say the least. I was so disappointed, right? So anyway, fast forward, he tried to communicate with me through my teenage years, here and there, very sporadically, right? During this time, kind of cell phones were just coming out or whatever. So in order for me to get in touch with him, I would have to contact his mother, my other grandmother, right? So here's the thing. For years, I hated this man. I hated him. Before I even met him in person, I hated him. Just because of what I heard about him, the fact that he wasn't around. Like I just had a hate for him, right? And like I had to go through like some counseling when I was coming up, because I would just have this anger spurt, like this mean streak they call it, And my mom she would always say I got that from him because he had those same qualities. So I hated this man, right? So again, met him 12, 13. He asked me to borrow $2. Very disappointed. Moving forward, kind of here and there, we would have a conversation. I could count on one hand how many conversations I've had with him, and I can count on one hand how many times I've physically seen him. So I'm going to fast forward, and about the year, I want to say it was 2009. Yeah, 2009. So I have been doing all this work, right? I have figured out, that all this hate, that I was carrying for this man, the fact that he wasn't there for me and all of this, right? I needed to let it go. It wasn't serving me, right? It wasn't serving me in any type of positive way. It was only hurting me. It was hurting my relationships with people. And I wasn't even, in the awareness that was taking place, because it was so buried, so buried underneath all of the stuff that we deal with, right? So, anyways, I decided, that I need to forgive him, that I need to forgive all the bad images I had of him, the bad comments, things I said about him, like all of this stuff. This is me doing the shadow work. This is me doing the inner work. This is me healing my inner child, right? So anyways, I call my grandmother. And so now I'm grown at this point, it's 2009, right? So I'm grown and have gotten a level of awareness, a level of consciousness, what have you. And I call my grandmother, and we call her Nana. I say, hey, Nana, how are you doing? We chatted for a little bit, and I had to remind her because she's getting older, so she's getting into stages of Alzheimer's and a little bit of dementia. She knows who I am face to face, but over the phone, I kind of have to warm her up and remind her to who I am, because I didn't grow up with her. I only met her, when I was a teenager, right? So that whole side of my family, I had just kind of met from teenage years. So talking with her, and she would always be the point of contact for me to get in touch with my biological father. And his name is Michael Dean. So rest in peace, Michael Dean. So I said, hey, Nana, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. She says, oh, I'm fine, whatever. Who is this? And so I remind her, I'm your granddaughter, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, I wanted to get in touch with my dad. Do you have his phone number? And she paused for a really, really long time. And then she finally came back and she said, baby, your father passed away last year. And I'm like, like numb. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, no way, no way. And she said, we tried to contact you. Now that part of my family is in Texas, and I had moved away to Georgia some years before that. And I want to say this was more like, this wasn't 2009, this had to be 2010. Yeah, this had to be 2010. So anyways, they had no way to get in touch with me. Again, I wasn't real close to that side of the family, had just met them. They didn't have a way to get in touch with me. And when she told me that, my heart just dropped. It seemed like my heart just dropped to my feet. And so anyways, we got off the phone or what have you. But here is the lesson. Here's the lesson that will forever stick with me. And that lesson is that you cannot carry regret. Excuse me. I still get a little teary-eyed around that, because it's just like, it's a big lesson. It's like, you cannot carry regret. You cannot carry a hate. It's like, it doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve anyone, right? So the lesson that I got from that whole ordeal, that whole situation, was to forgive, and forgive quickly. Forgive quickly. That's including yourself. So if you're regretting something about something that you did, or something in the past, or whatever it is, Forgive yourself quickly. Because guess what? Time on this planet, it goes by in a nanosecond. You look up one day, there's your friend. You look up the next day, they're gone. You look up one day, there's your grandmother. You look up the next day, she's gone. Right? So while we're sitting around here being in our feelings about stuff, man, we need to let shit go. Let that shit go. It's not serving you. So now I'm going to give you some tools and stuff that I use, right, to get over regret, to get back in a high vibration of love and a high vibration of gratitude. For me, it's meditation. It's simply calming myself, calming my mind, visualizing the feeling that I want to feel, right? So like I would sit like with my dad, I would sit and I would say, okay, if I'm responsible for my own thoughts, right? And here's the thing, right? Our subconscious mind doesn't have a filter. So your subconscious mind can't tell you what's true and what's false. It's only a recorder. So it's only going to record what you give it. So I literally went back in my mind and I would insert different times where this didn't happen in real life, okay? This wasn't on this three-dimensional plane. This is all in Queen's Head. So I would go back and like some of the experiences that I would have liked to have with my dad, like him pushing me in the swing, you know what I mean? Like simple stuff like that. Or him being at one of my basketball games, or just different little things. Like I would visualize those things and I would just smile and I would feel good, right? And so I was changing this image that I had of him, right? And the regrets that I had about him not being there and all of these different things. I just flipped the script. You know, and I was able to get to a point of loving him, you know, because I mean, again, we all do the best. Hang on, I gotta blow my nose. Hold on, y'all. Let me pause this for a second. Y'all got me all on my podcast show crying. Anyway, hey, it's good to release. That's another thing I used to be embarrassed about. I used to be embarrassed about crying, you know, or showing my emotions. And that was just this image, this again, that anger that I had built up over the years. You know, emotions are good. Release, let it go. Let it go. Let shit go and fly. Fly, my friend. You know, you got all this stuff weighing you down, regrets and, you know, burdens and hate and all of this stuff is weighing your wings down. You can't fly. So fly, let it go. So anyways, I would go back in my mind and I would create these scenarios, these feel-good scenarios that I wanted growing up, you know, as a child, between my father and myself. So I just embedded these new programs, you know, I just embedded that stuff and, you know, all of the things that I thought that he would say as I was growing up, encouragement and different things like that. And just, I would visualize it. And then I would take those emotions and take those feelings, those real good feelings, and I would just hold on to them, you know, and that's how I changed my vision of him. Because I really don't know how he would have been. You know, I was conjuring up in my mind all of the bad images. So why can't I flip the script and conjure up in my mind all of the good images, right? It's all mental, right? It's all mental. The all is mental. The all is mind. The universe is mental, right? That's the first law of Tehuti or Hermes, Hermetic text. The all is mind. The universe is mental. So think about what it is that you might be feeling regret about right now. And, first of all, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. If there's another person involved around this, forgive them. We only do the best that we can with the information that we have, right? And our days are numbered. Believe me when I tell you that. Our days are numbered. So forgive yourself. Forgive anyone else that may be involved in this whole regret thing that you have going on. And then figure out a way where you can change the programming around the situation, around the event. Get still, get quiet, do some deep breaths, and dive into your subconscious and change the program, flip the script. Change the program, flip the script. Because right now, the script that you're running around the regret is this negative narrative, this negative movie. That's what you're running. And you're continuing to run that same program because it's giving you that same low vibration, that same low frequency. So all you got to do is get still, bypass the conscious mind, because the conscious mind, your ego, like my ego was telling me, no, you need to hate this dude. He wasn't there for you. He didn't protect you. You have a right to hate this dude. That's what my ego was telling me, right? Because our ego wants to keep us in the familiar state. Whatever that state is, that's what our ego wants to keep us in. So my ego saying, you have a right to hate him. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I do have a right to hate him. I hate him, right? But that wasn't serving me. So you have to bypass your conscious mind to change the programming, right? Your conscious mind will tell you, yeah, whatever it is, a past love, you didn't move where you should have moved, or you didn't take the job, or you didn't, whatever it may be that you're feeling regret around, your ego will try to keep you feeling and playing that same movie in your mind. So you've got to bypass your conscious mind. That's why I say get into a state of meditation where you slow down your brain waves, you get into an alpha, ideally get into a theta, right? But alpha is good. Your brain waves are slower. You're more susceptible. Your subconscious mind is more susceptible to accepting whatever it is. That's why I say don't fall asleep with the TV on. Don't fall asleep with news on. Because your subconscious mind is always awake and it's just absorbing information. It's absorbing information, right? But when you learn to be a conscious creator, you learn how to consciously create the life that you want, the thoughts that you want, the feelings, the emotions that you want by going into your subconscious mind and changing the program. Now, you do it one night. Is it magic and it's going to stick? Absolutely not. Just like the programming that you have right now, it took time. It took time for you to have this programming. Think about it. Think about the regret that you're feeling. You've been telling yourself and loathing and going back and forth with yourself with this thing for years. So guess what? The programming to unwind that is going to take time. It is going to take time. But what I can tell you, a 21-day, scientists say if you do anything consecutively for 21 days, you turn it into a habit, right? You turn it into a habit. It becomes habitual. So I say whatever it is that you're wanting to change around this whole regret situation, give yourself 21 days to go in there and consecutively, consciously change that. Have the intention. Start with looking at how you're going to feel when you're no longer feeling regret. Think about that. That's exciting. Think about how you would feel by no longer carrying around this baggage of regret. That's a good feeling. I feel it for you already. So that's really it for this episode, man. I hope that, like I said, y'all got me crying and all kinds of stuff, but it felt good. It felt good to share it. So let me know your thoughts. Hopefully this information resonates with you and you will utilize it to get yourself in a higher vibration, to get yourself in a higher frequency where you belong. We naturally resonate on a frequency of love. We are taught and programmed to be less than. All right? This is Queen. Peace and unconditional love to you.
Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe via iTunes and Google Play for upcoming episodes. If you're committed to scaling your business and life to the next level, book a free strategy session with Cashflow Queen Kenitra by visiting the website nobscloser.com. Again, that's nobscloser.com. Again, visit nobscloser.com to book a free strategy session today.